Hello everyone and welcome to GGN. I hope that this Sunday, March the 2nd, 2014 finds you well and that you're staying warm. Even if you are in the southern part of the United States or wherever you may be. This particular video, or videos depending on how much I can squeeze into 15 minutes, the weather, or specifically the cold weather, this long winter. I can't believe that it's already March the 2nd, and I look at the temperatures here. The temperatures here for the forecast for my local area. I live in the Midwest. I don't live in Minnesota, and I don't live in southern Kentucky. But it's usually cold, but this is definitely one of the coldest winters that I've seen in my 33 years of living here. 17 degrees is what it is now, 16 overall. I think it'll drop into summer temperatures, and tomorrow they're saying 13 degrees for March 3rd. Sorry, I'm a little congested here. I think a lot of people have been sick. I have my own theories for that. They've been spraying the crap out of us with aerosols. It's like I said before, and people will be like, "No, Dark, I don't believe in this hoe. They're trying to warm the planet." My point is that they're spraying, and they've been spraying, trying to combat this significant cooling period this year in the 2013-2014 winter season. I think that they're failing big time because every time they spray and they warm it, it just gets really freaking cold right away. Usually you'll see rain. We had that 24, 36-hour rain period. That was completely man-made, manufactured to combat the cold. And there was, a side effect of the spraying besides it warming, besides it warming, at least that's what they say, right? In the patent, the Welsbach cloud seeding patent, was that it's a side effect of warming. Is rain. So that's one of the major side effects that I've seen, that I've observed here, is that the side effect is it's going to cause rain or some kind of precipitation like snow, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing like all these chem snow and chem rain, and that's them trying to warm it. So, all right, so I'm going to get moving here, and I actually have an article that I would like to get to. It's called "The Ice is Coming." It was written by Court E. Patterson from CourtExplorers.com. It was written in 1999, and he goes over a book, or kind of overviews a book by this individual named Felix. I'm scrolling down here. Robert Felix, talking about how the Earth is subject to a number of major and minor cycles, some with periods in the hundreds of years, while others have periods in the thousands of years. He brought these cycles and their effects on the climate and the people on the earth, its inhabitants, together in his book called Not by Fire, But by Ice. He points out that we are currently at the confluence of a number of the Earth's natural cycles, and perhaps the most important, which is the utterly regular and reliable 11,500-year Ice Age cycle. Felix also provides revelations about the mechanics of just how ice ages start and how fast they come on, saying that the old idea of ice slowly spreading down from the frozen north and receding back at the end of an ice age is wrong. Some studies say that the Ice Age human societies, uncovered the fact that the end of the last ice age took less than a simple human generation to transition from ice to temperate climate. And that's basically what they've shown. So it says that it turns out that the ice ages form in a place as a result of massive snowfalls. It explains the fossil records of herds of dinosaurs and mastodons dying in place with food in their stomachs and no evidence of predators on other natural causes. It basically goes on to talk about how much rain it takes to translate into snow. 1 inch of rain translates into 10 inches of snow, and all of the, quote, flooding that they were having. This was in 99, I believe. But he says the conventional wisdom that the climate has to be colder is also an error. It says in the last ice age, the tropics and subtropics were only 4 degrees cooler than they are now. Also, it says that Felix believes that the reversals of the Earth's magnetic fields, which are caused in turn by the changes in the sun's magnetic field, are the key to the Ice Age cycle, We appear to be heading into another magnetic reversal in the very near future. Magnetic field strength has also fallen some 50 to 60% over the last 2,000 years, and the rate is accelerating at 0.5% of the decline has occurred in the last 100 years alone. When the Earth's magnetic field reverses, the iron and magnetically sensitive materials in the crust respond to the changes in the field, which in turn disturbs the existing stress patterns in the crust. The result is increased volcanism, which we know basically cools the atmosphere. So I'm going to switch gears here to something that I've talked about, and maybe we'll return to that article from April 11, 2013. I remember I covered this article last year in April, and it was titled, Russian Academy of Sciences Experts Warn of Imminent Cold Period. Global Warming is a Marketing Trick. This is from NoTrickZone.com. That's where you can find it. But an article is published by the Voice of Russia called The World on the Verge of an Ice Age. It says that reports of global cooling are becoming more frequent. So this is probably information that there's different powers that be, different factions of them, but I'm sure one of them that have the most power right now are aware of, and this is why they're trying to sell the global warming myth and that we're causing it. But these Russians and that, they say that the current warming is a reverberation of the planet coming out of the little ice age, and that in the near future, the course measured of the geological timescales, we are at the threshold of an ice age. The Voice of Russia quotes this Bashkin, that the periods of cooling and a warming follow each other at a 30 to 40-year intervals. In Russia, for example, there was a warming in the 1930s, a time when seafaring in the Northern Sea was possible. Then a cooling followed during the wartime years, and then a warming followed in the 70s. The current warming period ended at the end of the millennium. Well, I can tell already that I'm going to probably have to do this in 2 or 3 videos, but hopefully it should be pretty informative. I'm going to segue into this article. I'm going to come back to these other ones and try to tie this together. This is another article that I've covered before from January 20th, 2014, but I covered this prior to this date because it was also covered in other media cycles. This is from Forbes. Sun flatlining into grand minimum, says solar physicists. So, and they were talking about the outbreak of the polar vortex, which is still going on in March, which is crazy. But they basically go on and say that they say not unlike the Maunder minimum that was that some climatologists think caused the record low winter temperatures in northern Europe during the latter half of the 17th century. So there's this solar physicist, Mark Giampa from Arizona, the National Solar Observatory, and he basically says, my opinion is that we're heading into a Maunder minimum. Again, we're talking about record low temperatures in northern Europe during the latter half of the 17th century. But he says, I'm seeing a continuation in the decline of the sunspots, mean magnetic field strengths, and a weakening of the polar magnetic fields and subsurface flows. Moving on here, at the end of a sunspot cycle, about all you have left are magnetic fields at the solar poles. We are at the sunspot maximum of cycle 24. It's the smallest sunspot cycle in 100 years, and the third in a trend in diminishing sunspot cycles. So cycle 25 could likely be smaller than cycle 24. Another indicator pointing to an imminent grand minimum is that the current solar cycle shows some signs of hemispheric asymmetry, said this Steve Tobias, an applied mathematician in the UK. When the field is about to enter a minimum or is leaving a minimum, we see more sunspots in one solar hemisphere than the other. So back to what we were talking about with the Russians, it's kind of what he was talking about, right? You'll have little heating or warming periods before it actually starts to get cooler.